Welcome to Talak-E-Talks, where we talk about everything and anything na gusto namin pag-usapan. I'm Tilapia Words back.
Hello, and I am Shampi Sapsap. Before we proceed, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, dito sa YouTube, and we're also available on Spotify and Apple Podcast.
And for today's episode, as part of our coming out series, kasi hindi kailangan maging June to celebrate Pride, we're continuing this series with our very special guest. We featured his work a couple of episodes ago because we're a fan of his online comic, or it's a comic and he will be published soon. So
Yes.
it's ang comic book niya is Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE. Our special guest for the day is Tsambolero.
Hi.
Or Chambi,
Hello.
right? And you go by
Yes, you can
Chambi?
call me Chambi. You can call
Oh.
me Chambi.
Thank you
Hello.
for joining us, Chambi. Salamat sa
Thank you
pagpapaunlak.
so much.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be
And nice
here.
to meet you. At parang isa ka sa, siyempre may face reveal kami sa iyo. Para ikaw lang makakalam kung sino kami. May ganung level.
Don't worry, hindi ko pagkakalat.
So Cham, nakilala ka namin sa work mo na Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE, right? Kasi natisod ka lang namin sa Twitter. Someone like your work, and we've been fans ever since of the whole Tomas and Leo love team, right? Diba? Parang ang galing kasi ng konsepto, promise. I mean, we are also creative. So parang, di natin naisip yun. Ba't ang ganda ng konsepto? May ganun level. Paano nagsimula yung Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE?
Ano siya eh, it's kind of like semi-autobiographical. So, yung mga experiences ko in real life, I guess translate ko siya. Well, not literally, like, syempre wala naman yung...
Sabi ko, jowa ka ba ng gal?
Diba? I wish. Hindi, pero ayun nga, like, parang these are all, hango sila sa mga real life experiences ko. And ayun, like, parang one time last year, nung pandemic, like, diba, pandemic baby, yung Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE, and you guys must know bilang pandemic baby nga din
Yeah, yung podcast namin, pandemic baby din.
So, ayun, parang one day na pagtripan ko lang na parang gumawa ng a little like short comic about one of these little things that I've experienced. Tapos, ayun, I posted it on Twitter, and hindi ko naman ina-expect nung time na yun na magkakaroon siya ng traction. Pero like, after I posted it, like, pagkagising ko, like, my notice were like blowing up. I was like, what is going on? Tapos like, wala, natuwa ako dun sa reception, and like, from there, I decided to like, ituloy-tuloy na siya. So,
kasi honestly, the material is so fresh. Ang ganda ng take. Saka yung art is very distinct din. Have you always been like, is your background into comics design talaga, or pangarap mo talaga maging comic artist, or not, ano lang to, as a hobby?
Graphic design.
Well, ever since I was a kid, I've always been into comics. Pero yung major ko talaga ng college is industrial design. So like furniture, mga product design, ganun. Pero ayun, yun nga, like I've always regarded myself as an artist and illustrator. So, ayun, it's always been a part of me.
It almost sounds like na this wasn't planned at all. Parang nangyari na lang to. Parang parang nag-snowball na lang yung effect, 'di ba? Parang next sa Twitter na nagustuhan, and now you're going to be published, right? This year or next year through PenLab, is that right? Or tama ba ako?
Yeah. I'm going to be published sometime next year. Hindi ko pa alam kung kailan, pero like hopefully early next year by PenLab Inc. through Psycom ang publish.
Congratulations, ang taray.
Thank you so much.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah. Actually, parang actually yung first na feature namin yung sa'yo, tsaka yung Life in Orange talaga, yung tagang pumukaw sa amin, tsaka talaga. So, and obviously, Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE talks about a gay relationship of same sex, and then may ibang layer, may supernatural layer siya.
Yeah.
And you've been out even on Twitter that you are gay. Tama ba ako, or medyo?
Yes, I'm very much out on Twitter.
And since it's
everywhere else.
And everywhere else. Oh. And teka pala, yung Tsambolero, paano nagsimula? Baka may mga listeners tayo na nagtataka, saan nagsimula ang Tsambolero? Kasi parang na-explain mo naman ang concept sa Twitter, if I remember it right. Kasi parang nag-explain ka one time. Pero for our listeners din, saan nagsimula yung Tsambolero na Nick?
Actually, wala lang din yan. Pagtripan ko lang din yan eh. I just thought it was like a clever parang wordplay on chamba and bolero. Na, hindi naman ako bolero, pero like, magaling ako sa chamba. I mean, I don't think so, pero wala lang. I just thought it was witty na, with chambolero. No deep reason.
Okay. And with your, was it intentional then as your first, is Ang Jowa Kong Crosswise your first ever big project or first comic project?
Yes, it's my first comic project, period.
And is it really intentional then as a gay man, parang you will cater to or highlight a gay relationship or, you know what I mean, or our story in some ways?
I never really thought about it that way kasi yun nga, lagi kong sinasabi gusto ko lang naman magkwento. So, I mean, highlight na kung highlight, yeah. And basta this is my story and I guess, our story na rin as a community, So, it's a pretty universal thing, yung loving someone, being in love. So, I find that a lot of people relate to that. So,
yeah, it's tama naman, it's very universal. So, and going to that gay element in your story, did you know ever since that you were gay? Or ano yung earliest memory mo na na-realize mo na, or yung understanding mo na yung word na gay?
I knew early on pa lang eh. Kasi like, as a kid,
like how young are we talking about here, Tsambolero?
Siguro maybe 7? Ganun.
Okay, yeah.
Pretty young. Kasi like, I grew up watching a lot of Disney films. Yung Disney princess movies, Mulan.
Sabi ko talaga, Disney talaga sa larin niya. Kahit ako, Disney na sa larin sa akin eh.
Actually,
especially sa Unrequited Love, Disney rin na may kasalanan sa akin.
Grabe. Kasuhan na nga natin yung dagang yan. Pero, ayun, I grew up watching a lot of Disney. Tapos, I was also very interested in Sailor Moon. Characters sa Korea, ganun.
Oh, okay.
Mga typically,
so, anime, no?
Typically, mga feminine things yung mga interests ko nung bata ako.
So, either you imagine yourself as either the heroine or yung damsel in distress or
sometimes
or na-enjoy mo lang talaga yung pagiging yung feminine or yung flamboyant ng mga girl characters ng mga princesses or whatever.
Yeah, like parang natutuwa ako kasi like it was very freeing, parang ang liberating.
Okay.
To like be able to express that side of yours.
At an early age, was that scary for you or parang you didn't really mind it at all?
I think I was fortunate enough to grow up in a household na very open and liberal. So yung mga interests ko na ganun, like napagbibigyan naman ng parents ko. Pero hindi ko na yun na-realize na medyo parang divergent pala ako compared to like other boys my age until I went to school, ganun. So, I guess ako na rin subconsciously yung parang nag-suppress ng that side of myself. I mean, I've always been kind of like reserved and sensitive and quiet, the emotional kid, ganun. Pero, ayun nga, parang I kind of subconsciously kept it under wraps kasi I knew like some part of me knew na parang wait a second, parang iba ako from mag-act compared to like my peers.
Kailan mo fully pala na-accept na, I mean, syempre for young ones or growing up, parang naglilinger na naman yung idea eh. Parang you don't fully accept it until a moment, I guess, or a certain realization na may ganun ka rin bang nangyari or moment or trigger?
I had a crush on my one of my close friends nung high school. Yeah, fourth year high school to. Like, I mean, before that I've always known naman. I like I said, I've always known. Pero like yun talaga yung parang oh shit moment ko na parang may nag-snap talaga sa brain ko na parang shocks, this is it. This is real. Because like I started developing feelings na for like a close friend. So ayun, I was forced to confront that. And yeah, it was something.
If you don't mind us asking, like, how did you confront?
Na-intriga tayo, di ba? First love ba
Correct.
ito? First love ba
I
ito?
assume kasi high school ano to, di ba?
Yeah. I guess in a way, like first same sex na love.
Oo.
Ganun.
So
Ayun.
may babae before this? Or
Yeah, I've had like quite a few female crushes, pero like hanggang crush lang.
Crush lang,
Like, parang hindi ko pa
okay.
yeah.
So co-ed to, right? Na
Co-ed.
high school.
Yes.
But I assume it's non-Catholic, but
It's not a Catholic school.
Okay.
Non-sectarian ba tawag?
non-sectarian.
So
But-
pero nalaman ni
Yes.
ni boyfriend na
Did you
mahal mo siya
confess?
or did you confess? May nangyari bang ganun?
Yeah, he wasn't my boyfriend.
Hindi kayo ka boy-friend. Yung parang yung friend mo na boy.
Yeah. Eventually, I confessed to him then naman. And yeah, like I was really nervous leading up to that moment. Kasi ayun nga, like parang friend ko siya, really close friend ko siya. Like,
can you help us? I'm sorry, can you help us visualize? It's kind of like a defining moment for you, di ba?
Sige.
So were you like, parang varsity ba siya? Naka-basketball jersey sa may court?
Ano to? The Love Beneath the Stars?
You want me to be more descriptive about it, like I'm telling a story, gano'n?
Yeah, hindi ako naman. Parang make us feel young again.
Feed the fantasy, gano'n.
I think
Sige.
same moment ba ni Tomas at ni Leo sa di ba may moment sila sa library? Library yun, di ba?
That was college na eh. Yung
College na yun.
Sorry, yung kumakain nata sila, parang McDo ba yun?
Inisip yung comment.
Anyways, go.
Where was I? I was context. We were classmates, like, since first year high school. Tapos, we weren't really close nung mga first few years ng high school. Pero nung fourth year, naging super close kami kasi we were in volleyball varsity together. Sobrang bakla na sport na volleyball.
Grabe yun, no? Pag taga-high school, di ba? Mga straight nasa basketball, mga bakla nasa volleyball. May ganung level, di ba?
Ganun. Pero like, iba yung school namin. Oddly enough, I was the only gay kid in our volleyball team.
Talaga?
The rest of my teammates were straight.
Okay.
So parang breaking barriers in that way, di ba?
In fairness. Good
Walang
job,
stereotype. Pero yeah, ayun, we grew really close nung senior year. Tapos I actually considered him my best friend at the time.
Okay.
Thus, my fear of like confessing my feelings for him kasi nga, shucks, like, best friend ko to. Tapos parang pag umamin ako, baka masira yung relationship namin, ganun. Because, ayun. So, I tried for the longest time to just, itago na lang. Dadalhin ko na lang sa libingan. Yung
Girl, nakaka-relate ako sobra. relate si Bakla. Okay,
parang trial by
Continue.
fire yata ito ng mga queer kids.
Oo, promise. Yung mga best friend na yan, especially nung high school ako, nakakalo. Anyways, kwento mo to, hindi ko kwento. Oo.
Pero ayun nga, like, eventually, parang wala. I got a lot of grief, like, from myself due to this fact na I was hiding these feelings for my friend, and ayun nga, I was really struggling to come to terms with my sexuality at that time. Kasi ayun nga, na-confirm na eh. Parang, shucks, I really do have feelings for a guy, a boy. So, ayun, I confessed to him. And
Chams, what pushed you? Was there a moment na parang, sabihin ko na to, parang, parang, kebs na ako nung mangyari. Parang may ganung moment ba? Ano nangyari?
I guess what pushed me is, like, after graduation, like a few days after graduation. Tapos like we were all going our separate ways. Yung barkada namin parang like we're all going to different schools. So like I realized like parang now or never. Like,
Girl,
kasi, like,
girl, BL na BL ito. BL content na BL content.
Okay, parang fuck it. O sige, sabihin ko na.
Ganun, mga ganun. Tapos, ayun, may parang grad party sa house.
Una na lang, sabihin mo grad ball, di ba?
wala
sige.
kaming grad ball, pero, you know, nagpa-grad party na lang ako. Tapos, like, after mag-uwian ng mga friends namin, like, you know, he stayed. Like, nagpahuli siya, ganun. Tapos, kasi, like, we were really close. Like, we were inseparable, basically. Tapos, ayun, uwi na rin siya. So, hinatid ko siya sa shed. Tapos, while walking to the shed, like, parang, ayun, I actually had a speech written down. Like, I whipped, kasi, like, I was nervous na, like, baka, you know, I wouldn't know what to say. So, like, before that, moment, sinulat ko muna sa notes app ko. While we were walking, I whipped out my phone. Tapos, binasa ko yung speech ko, like, it was a whole thing, like, yung confession ko, ganun. Tapos, it was really awkward for me. Parang, okay naman siya, chill naman siya, like, parang, nag-thank you siya, tapos na-appreciate niya yung...
Thank you talaga ang reaction, no? Thank you talaga.
Thank you.
Thank you din ang reaction sa akin, eh. May violent reaction. Lagi mo ka thank you lang. Hindi ba I love you too? I love you too. Sorry.
Pero kasi, what were you supposed to say, diba? What were you supposed to say to that? Tapos, ayun, nag-thank you siya. Tapos, really assure niya naman ako na parang, sinabi ko kasi na parang I'm afraid na things will change between us if I confess. Tapos, ayun, reassure niya naman na things wouldn't change, na he would still treat me the same, we'd still be friends, ganun. Tapos, ayun, umuwi na siya. Tapos after
hindi
that...
Hindi siya nagulat or something? Or...
Hindi. Hindi siya nagulat.
And how did you feel pala when yung reaction niya ganun? Was it heartbreaking din for you, or were you okay with it? Were you...
I guess I was okay with it kasi I've already psyched myself up for the worst. Na parang hindi ko naman ina-expect na i-reciprocate niya yung feelings. Like, gusto ko lang sabihin kasi like I needed to get this off my chest.
Really? Laman lang hug kahit sa dulo.
May hug.
Okay.
May hug naman. Ano naman, he was very reassuring about the whole situation.
Okay.
Ayun.
Kala ko nag-holding hands din kayo bigla. pero nakakaloka dito. Para ang take away ko talaga, sobrang younger yung generation ni Chambi. Kasi, girl, meron na siyang notes app nung panahon niya. Notes app na siya nung panahon natin. Wala tayong papel talaga ginawag ko.
Isusulat mo talaga sa
scroll
sa papel din.
Sabi ko, ay, bata talaga si Chambi. May notes app na yung phone niya. Yung phone na siguro natin noon, ano pa lang, 3110 nung panahon natin. Literal.
High school to, di ba? So,
high school. So, early 2000 to, no, Chams? Kung di ako nagkakamali. Ito,
yung
high
time
school
frame?
mo? Oo, mga early 2000.
Right after graduation ko. So, mga 2010s na actually.
Oh my God. So, ang laki talaga ng generation ka pala ng episode na ito. Pwede tayo magtanong ko, kamusta na ba ang kabaklaan ngayong panahon na to? Kasi halos a decade. We're a decade apart. Oy, nahiya pa or more? A decade or more?
Actually, nga sasabihin ko sana I think we're decades apart. So,
decades plural?
Hindi naman. Maybe decade and a half? Maybe?
Okay.
Parang mga ganon.
Correct, a decade and a half. Yeah.
Nag-isip
I would assume.
Yeah. So, I mean, was that a formal coming out in general sa buhay mo? Or did you have a formal coming out? I mean, di ba parang sa generation nyo yun, parang uso-uso yung may testimony or may ano. Especially with social media, di ba? Kasi before naman walang social media eh. Alam mo yun, for some reason, I mean, it's fine. I don't mind it. I mean, if people will be at peace with that or yun na kailangan nila to be more comfortable with themselves, I'm totally fine with it. Pero did you had one?
I've had multiple coming out scenarios, some formal, some informal. Pero ayun, like that's the thing kasi with us, like parang it's like even if sabihin mong fully out ka, like you're never really parang completely done coming out.
Totoo.
Diba?
Yeah.
In a way. Kasi like with each person you meet, like parang, oh, do I say like, do they care? If like, ganito ako, like parang ano bang pakinila? Like, ganun. So parang...
But to your family, are you fully out to your family? Or is that something that you still on parang inuunti-unti mo pa? Or something na you're okay na naman?
Oh, no. I'm fully very much out with my family.
And how was your family? Were they okay with it? Did you struggle or?
Well, I didn't really. There was just like this one really difficult night when I came out to my mom. Like I wouldn't go into full detail na, pero like it was kind of like really dramatic, ganun. It wasn't just about like my sexuality then kasi there were like a lot of other things like that I was struggling with, like with my mental health, ganun. So it was like a really parang heavy moment for between me and my mom. Tapos ayun, like parang I guess yung mom ko na lang yung naging parang spokesperson ko. Like I didn't really actually officially or like formally tell my family na hey, I'm gay, ganun. Like parang wala, nabalitaan na lang nila sa mom ko. And I guess parang ano na rin, like that's one less thing for me to worry about. I didn't really mind. Like gets ko na like there are some people na parang like coming out to the rest of my family, to my extended family, like parang akin na yun. Like parang it's my thing to do. Like parang para sa akin, like I didn't mind naman na my mom like kind of like told my family already. Kasi like ano naman like parang ever since they kind of already knew. And like I said, we're a very liberal family. Like I'm privileged enough to grow up in a very liberal and open household. Coming out to my mom was like just yun lang yung band-aid that I had to rip off. Like isahan, one time big time lang siya. And then I guess nag-disseminate na yung information to my extended family.
So, one question lang, and I'm sorry if this might be intrusive or whatever. Kasi parang you only mentioned your mom. Is there a dad in the picture or?
Yeah, there's my dad's also in the picture naman. It was my mom na rin who told my dad actually.
Okay.
Because like I don't know, like my dad's just kind of quiet and chill. Like.
Pero I mean, wala ka namang pressure na, kasi for example ako, mas may pressure sa akin na how would my dad feel about, ano yung parang yung tatay figure, especially I'm the eldest too. Alam mo yung pressure na passing on the surname and I'm the kuya and everything.
Actually,
wala ka namang ganong na experience with your dad or fear of coming out with your dad or something like that?
Wala eh. Sa totoo lang wala. Bilang panganay din ako. Like, my only other sibling is, like a girl. So parang ako, nasa sa akin talaga yung pressure na, mag-continue ng bloodline.
So, pare-pareho pala tayo tatlo.
Panganay?
Panganay, tapos dalawa.
Tapos younger sister.
Older, correct.
Yeah, pareho tayong tatlo. We were meant to be. Doon tayo
Pareho natin pinutol yung legacy ng earnings natin. Yeah.
Niloko ko na nga yung parents ko ngayon na parang our family bloodline ends with me. Ako na ang huling magdadala ng apelido nyo. Pero joke lang naman yan. Binibiro ko lang sila. I'm grateful naman na we're at that level na nabibiro ko sila about it. And nabibiro nila ako about it.
Cool.
Ang ko pala, we asked this to every guest that we had. What was your parang sexual awakening naman in some way? So parang doon mo lang realize na parang
I guess sexual awakening ko. This is gonna be a bit weird. So,
Manananggal?
No. Si Prince Eric sa Little Mermaid.
Disney Prince pa din. Disney talaga may kasalanan.
Disney talaga may kasalanan. Ayun, like parang wala. I was like, wow, he's so dreamy. Those eyes, grabe. And that smile. So weird, I'm having a crush on yung sexual awakening ko is a cartoon character.
Hindi, pero I think it's pretty normal. Like in my case, I remember Ako, buti ka nga, cartoon. Ako, talaga, action figure.
Oh my
I
gosh.
had a He-Man action figure noon. Tapos,
Oh,
He-Man, syempre alam mo
yeah.
naman yun, di ba? Yung mga Master of the Universe collection, sa mga
Well,
bulky
yeah.
talaga to. So, so I guess doon talaga nag-start yung fascination ko or yung ko for muscled men. Parang gano'n.
Yeah.
Siguro,
To be fair, He-Man is very homoerotic. Like yung outfit niya pa lang eh.
Correct. Which is so weird for na ginawa yung nga cartoon siya for this was back in the 80s yung mga yung panahon pa ng filmation. So
sinasabi mo ng panahon natin, 80s talaga.
Oy,
okay.
grabe naman.
Okay, fine.
Napapanood ko din naman yung yung He-Man ng kabataan ko. Pero yung reruns na.
Oh, whatever. Whatever.
Kasi you mentioned that you were the only gay, I guess yung flamboyant student sa dun sa volleyball varsity ninyo back in high school. But how was it growing up? Kasi usually high school would be like the most awkward phase sa ating lahat. And I think having that burden of alam mo coming to terms with your sexuality. Tapos I can see that you are a sensitive person, so I'm pretty sure you process it very differently back then. So how was it growing? How was your high school basically?
That's a loaded question. It was actually high school was a pretty good experience for me. Like parang usually like yung narrative pag queer ka, like growing up queer in high school, like parang ikaw yung laging nabubully,
Correct,
ikaw yung
ostracized, right?
ostracized or other ganun. That wasn't really the case for me. Like not to brag or anything, but I was like pretty popular nung high school. Like I was in varsity, I was in the student council. I was actually class valedictorian twice nung grade 7 and senior year.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was pretty much an overachiever nung high school, and even though like I was kind of like the sensitive kid na parang medyo malambot, like parang I never really got bullied or teased for it, and I think that's got a lot to do with like parang how do I say this, like my social standing in high school, kasi diba like parang merong hierarchy and with like the
correct, if you had the creds to
to
back you up, so obviously okay.
Ayun, so like parang
makes sense.
Parang looking back, like was I compensating for being gay? Like was I like doing all of these things, like achieving all of these things because I was gay? I don't know. That's a question for my therapist. But ayun, like it was high school was pretty good. It was a pretty memorable and fun time.
And then when you went to college, okay, I assume UP to, right? Kasi yun yung reference sa sa comics mo. So and knowing na how progressive and liberal yung environment doon, did it have any impact on you?
I guess yung impact niya lang is I felt saying lang parang minamaliit. Pero like yung I think yung impact talaga ng being able to study in UP is parang I felt like I was in a very conducive environment to like really explore who I am. Like not just like academically but also like sa other aspects ng buhay ko, like even my sexuality, kasi like parang meron ng like running gag na parang pag pumasok ka sa UP ng straight ka, lalabas ka bakla ka. Pero that's not really the case, pero like I think most of the time lang kasi I think people say that because like
they feel more comfortable or they realize their true selves, parang may ganung level during the course of their college years, diba?
Yeah, ganun talaga. Like, and even like kahit hindi ka talaga UP, I think like college talaga is the perfect like parang environment for you to do all of those things. So
kasi parang it's your correct, parang it's your first step some sort sa real world, diba?
Adulthood in some ways, diba?
Correct, right? Like example for me and Pia, diba? Mga probinsyana kasi kami. So we studied college in Manila. So that's like our first taste of independence, that's one,
Exactly.
right? And yun nga, adulthood.
Saka may level of
Yeah.
parang talagang literal na new chapter in your life. Then
Oh
you
yeah.
then you try to
Yeah.
second guess or to actually make a conscious decision na shit, new life to. Maybe ito na yung moment ko para talaga to be my true self. May ganung din talaga nangyari. Especially
Yeah.
for me kasi nga I didn't came out till I was in college. College na rin talaga. At kasi nga doon din ako namulat sa mga ibang klase ng mga bakla. Kasi parang when you are in a province or parang and I grew up in one school from kindergarten to high school na sobrang sheltered. So when I stepped into my college years in Manila, tapos parang na-expose ako tapos pa ako sa UBelt, FEU ako. So parang ang daming klaseng pala ang daming layers, ang daming klase, may mga doon ko nakilala yung mga trans friends ko, mga tago, mga bisexual, may bakla na rin. Pero una bisexual lang sila. pero parang ang daming layers and seeing how they comfortable they are with who they are, parang nakaka-inspire din. So may ganung level kapag college.
Yeah. Na-mention nyo nga na you guys are from the province. Tapos sabihin ko nga sana na parang I'm actually kind of envious na meron kayong probinsya. Kasi like, ako as in, born and raised ako dito sa QC eh. So, ayun nga yung pag-tap ako sa college, it wasn't like this very super drastic change like as when I was in high school. So parang like wala, like I guess it's just like really fascinating. Like naiinggit din ako dun sa mga ko, like college friends ko na may probinsya silang inuuwian na parang tapos may iba din silang alam na wika. Like ako Tagalog lang. And it's even like the most basic Tagalog. Manileño Tagalog. Diba? So parang, like, how was that for you guys na parang growing up queer in the province and then like moving out to like the capital?
Sa akin parang two things eh. Parang initially it triggered or it enticed me to have a double life. Kasi nga parang yung level of comfortability naman hindi naman nangyari overnight. Parang little by little din. So yun nga, pag tuwing uuwi ako ng probinsya, I will be the way I am during my high school days, early days. Kasi nga yung mga friends na makikita ko doon o makasalamuha ko doon was the same friends na I was growing up. Then pagtutukulan na lang, pag ng Monday or Sunday, paglubas ko, pagdating ko ng Manila, syempre yung mga new set of friends ko na I was fronting the newer me, kumbaga in some ways. So mas komportable.
Yeah.
So may ganun trigger din. Pero for a while, it was okay, pero all double lives will melt in some ways. Especially, I think it was the birth of my Friendster na at that time, and like simula ng Friendster and Multiply, something like that. And yung the first few online networking, friends app, parang ganon. And now your family was adding you, and my sister was adding me. Na I can't add my sister kasi yung Friendster profile ko was baklang-bakla. Parang I haven't fully come out to my sister yet that time. So yun ang struggle. Pero eventually, talagang you just have to be true to yourself. Parang ang hirap madudulas ka. Madudulas ka.
Yeah.
Ang dami mo masasabing kwento na hindi nagtutugma. I don't know, how about Shamsi? Probably the same din, no, Shams?
Yeah, it's pretty much the same. Doon ko talaga na-master yung yung compartmentalizing yung aspects of your life. Kasi I never really enjoyed high school kasi parang it was like a super awkward a time of my life. So parang at the back of my head when I moved to Manila back then, parang alam mo yun yung feeling na I want to make sure that this will be different. Yun.
Yeah.
But the thing is, alam mo, it didn't pan out as the way that we wanted it to. Tago pa din ako. I did have friends, gay friends, pero lahat kami nun tago eh. So, alam mo yun, so there were moments na yun nga yung nagmamalate, tapos yung nakita ka ng kaklase mo, or nakita ka ng kaibigan na kaklase mo sa Malate dun sa supposedly gay district or yung gay part of Malate. So
Na,
from by Monday, super awkward na
Oh gosh.
kinakantsuhan ka, binubuli ka ng nung
Even in college?
yeah, oo.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a mixed bag. Kasi that was the time that I had friends who were like me, but at the same time, since they were like me, natago din. So we were kind of like ostracized din sa group na din. Sa group pa din. But I would say naman na it's also the most liberating. Kasi ano na yun parang tuloy-tuloy na yun like from so parang kind of like an awakening, and then that's the time that I also got alam mo yun, yung confidence and yung strength to parang carve my own path.
Actually, Chams, yun ang gusto namin malaman because you are obviously you're on the younger generation. With the presence of social media and the apps, do you think being gay nowadays is a lot easier compared to what we've experienced? I mean, I'm sure hindi naman kami ang first mong mga baklang nakilala mas matanda sa'yo, di ba? Parang hearing
No.
other, di ba?
No.
Naglagan na ito. Pero, kasi,
I think ayun nga like hearing from you guys, like parang very different na talaga yung landscape, yung social landscape ngayon. Kasi I know like some mga Gen Z, hindi ako Gen Z, pero like I know some like Gen Z people na parang like parang as early as like what 11 or 12 like they already have like parang nakalagay na dun sa bio nila like yung gender identity nila and yung pronouns and yung preference
diba?
nila. And I think that's just like parang sobrang wow, nakakamangha parang these kids don't have to feel as unsafe as we did before during our time. I mean, I'm not that much older than them din naman. Pero like during my time like parang pa lang din nangangapa pa lang din yung mga tao sa social media. So parang ayun, like people nowadays are much more empathetic. And I think that's what was lacking before during our time na parang, empathy from our peers na it's really important for kids to feel safe lalo na in their formative years to like really realize who they are and who they want to be when they, grow up. Ganun. And ayun, I guess kaya din ako maraming bubog. Kasi like I didn't feel safe nung growing up. Like even though I had a very open and loving family and friends, like ako sa sarili ko, like alam ko yung mundo, parang hindi pa siya ganun. So parang ngayon nakakatuwa na unti-unti nagiging na siya, like parang safe. I guess that's a keyword, safe.
And without going into detail sa mga bubog na sinabi mo, and I mean it's your call. Was that something was it something about yung mga bubog ito about love life or family or extra things or are you in a relationship right now? May mga chika.
I guess it's a mix of all of those. Mostly mental health issues. Like I'm a big advocate kasi of for mental health. Kaya nga dun sa segue ko lang dun sa ang jowa kong crosswise.
Oh yes, please.
Ewan ko kung na-pick up nyo, pero like, one of the main characters, si Leo, he's struggling with some form of depression. So parang, ayun, then I wanted to incorporate that into the story kasi it's a really, I wouldn't say big, pero like parang, it's a part of me. And parang, I wanted to share it kasi, like there might be other people who needs validation na parang hindi lang sila yung may ganong pinagdadaanan sa buhay and stuff like that.
Are we okay talking more detail about that, or is that something that you want to be private? So you experienced depression as an early age, or how did it came about?
I think it started around high school, I guess. Ayun nga yung inner turmoil ko na parang coming to terms with how others perceive me versus how I perceive myself. Like parang that really took a toll on my mentality. Ayun, tapos on top of that, I was, I realized I was queer, I was gay. So it was really, like high school to early years ng college was really kind of a tough time for me.
What are the stages that you encountered or dealt with, or did you do to help yourself. Parang in some way. Am I making sense? May sense ba yung question
Yeah,
ko?
yeah. I think I understand. I
Yeah,
understand.
how do you cope actually? I
Yun,
mean,
yung term. Yun yung term.
you're
Thank
like
you.
so like so young, 'di ba? I mean, syempre siguro kung pag medyo matanda ka na, I mean, you can pretty much talk yourself, 'di ba, on at least at some capacity. Kaya mo na.
Yeah.
Pero for somebody who's like so young and so impressionable, 'di ba? How do you overcome that?
Mhm.
I'm yeah, that got us curious.
I think in a way I'm still kind of overcoming it. Pero
Yeah.
I've gotten better at that now. Pero like before talaga nung early high school days, I couldn't tell anyone.
Mm.
And dinala ko yun hanggang fourth year, hanggang early college. Tapos ayun, college syempre ano na, like parang medyo wala ka nang ano, hindi ka na nakatali masyado. So like you were free to explore, and I was also free to explore like a lot of different coping mechanisms that I'm not necessarily proud of. Until eventually, ayun nga, like parang I got sick of it na parang ganito na lang ba? Like every time I would feel like shit, like ganito na lang ba yung gagawin ko? So ayun, I told my friends and I told my family, and they were very reassuring, and ano naman, like they offered to help, and eventually I plucked up the courage to like go to a medical professional, to a psychologist, and ayun, like professional help and get medication. And a few years down the line, and here I am surviving.
Good for you. Congrats.
I
Tsaka ano
see.
talaga, parang sa process. Minsan kasi, Chams, when we, especially in our episodes, may level kami na me and Shamsi would ask if we can talk about certain things like this. Kasi parang kami, we're not professionals din naman, and we were kind of worried na parang we might be telling stories na or in some levels we were scared na baka makonstrue yung alam mo yun, yung especially hindi naman kami medically trained or whatever, or we don't have enough
Yeah.
experience for it. And but I'm in some ways curious when you para din siguro sa mga listeners na when you say depression, what actually goes through your mind? I mean, we hear about the people that are I'm depressed or whatever. And
Yeah.
in some ways, well, and with social media then, may level na they're just using the term lightly or
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah,
mean? So
loosely.
loosely or
Gets.
so can you if you are willing to share
Yeah.
ano yung
Yeah.
ano talaga yung how do you experience depression in some ways, and what is being depressed mean?
Depression, kasi it's such a like broad term and even psychology in itself is not hindi pa siya like parang super exact na science na parang meron kang sipon, eto like bigyan kita ng gamot,
Exactly,
ganun.
yeah.
Like it's very still like ano pa siya, like maraming blurred lines within the study itself. So parang I guess when you say like clinical depression, it means na parang you have like meron ka talagang formal diagnosis from a licensed professional na you have clinical depression. And that's different from feeling depressed. Kasi like, you know, like anyone can feel depressed, pero not everyone has clinical depression.
Ano yung nag-trigger sa'yo or na-realize mo na this is something na more than being sad or being to actually seek someone for help? Was there a moment na in your life?
Yeah, I guess the moment was when I noticed na it was affecting my life na parang it was affecting my studies, my eating habits, my sleeping habits, and even my relationships with my family and friends. Like parang na-notice ko and na-notice din nila na parang there's really may nagbago and there's like something something's up.
Were you destructive in some ways or anong?
Yeah, I was pretty destructive actually.
Okay.
I wouldn't go too much into detail about it.
Yeah,
pero
of
like,
course, yeah.
Yeah. Ayun, like I was really like coping in a negative way. So ayun, after that, after I realized na parang this has to stop because it's really it could potentially ruin my life if I keep doing this. Like ayun, I told my friends and family and they helped me get help.
Like because like coming out, this should be talked about. I mean, parang
we should
eliminate the taboo and
we should destigmatize
exactly
these topics. Yeah. So yeah. feel free
It's
to
good for
leave
you,
it in.
no? At least, I mean, you had a very good support system, and of
Mm.
course, you had means and ways to seek medical professional. I mean, medical help, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Diba, to help you. Kasi syempre, I
yeah.
mean, let's face it, in our reality, in our country, not everybody would have that. Ano yan,
Exactly.
actually would consider it as a privilege kung
It is
tutuusin.
a privilege. Yeah.
Diba? So it just made me realize. It just made me like for a brief
Uh,
moment sad na, I mean, with everything that's happening right now and not everybody having that access,
exactly.
alam mo yun, like you have. So yeah, I guess yung pwede lang natin gawin is like in our own little way. Like how can we help these people like who's like
Mm,
struggling at this very moment, diba? So
yeah.
I really hope na sana itong itong talk na to, 'di ba? Kung sino man yung makarinig and who's alam mo yun, who's like, struggling with anything mentally. So I really hope that
Yeah.
it's helping them. And of course, your work at Tsambolero, I really hope na it's also alam mo yun, helping them in a way. I think if I'm not mistaken, there was like this one episode of yours. Yung tethered together, yung saving each other.
Mm,
I'm not sure yung basta parang middle of your series.
yeah,
Yung
yeah, yeah.
it was very I think it was yun nga, I think it connected to me the most kasi parang yun nga, it's very poetic in a way, and
Yung magkayakap sila?
correct.
Tama ba?
Yung nga, parang
Sa
saving
ere,
them,
di
parang
ba?
keeping
Oo.
keeping one on the
Yung
ground and then
Yeah.
keeping or having one,
lifting him
alam mo
up.
yun,
Ganun. Yeah.
correct, lifting the other person. So
Yeah.
yun lang. At least yung parang, oo nga no, so it connects everything that you're saying, everything na kinakwento mo ngayon, it connects even to your stories. So thank you,
Yeah.
thank you for being so open about it. Kasi one of the themes sa creation mo is Philippine mythology. So I was
Yeah.
curious, like how are you able to connect it? And I mean, obviously, alam mo, it could be a meta din naman, 'di ba? To our tribe or our community, 'di ba?
Well, ayun nga. Nasabi ko na yata to before in a previous interview, pero the decision to make like the story also like mythological was kind of arbitrary lang. Like ano
Mm.
lang, parang ginawa ko lang siya at first like as kind of a gag na parang it might be funny na one of the people in the story is a manananggal, ganun. Pero eventually napagtanto ko din na parang it could also be like parang a metaphor about like being queer. Kasi nga, like, the story is set in like parang, I wouldn't say BL, kasi parang yung isip ko sa work ko is parang antithesis siya ng BL genre. Pero parang, dun kasi sa BL genre kasi, diba, parang, they live in a fantasy world na parang, walang stigma, walang taboo dun sa
Yes.
being gay, na parang like, chill lang siya, ganun, baklaan everywhere, ganun. I thought it was an added layer of being the other person, of being the outcast na aswang si Tomas. So parang even though like generally accepted naman na like yung LGBT community, ano pa rin like parang Tomas still faces like stigma, like living his life as an aswang. So ayun.
But I have a question. Why do they have to be so hot? O aminin, kahit aswang sila.
Actually, there's quite a fair few steamy scenes nga.
Oo
Yun
nga,
yung-
no? Yung pala hindi ko natanong, bakit yung pala, you're not afraid to have, no? Kasi may mga sexual talaga, especially yung mga
Yeah.
dukot-dukot scene. Parang, teka, akala ko ano to, parang PG to. Mas may mga dukot-dukot
wholesome,
scene.
pero,
Oo.
yeah. Wala eh. I guess, din, that's part of the agenda to destigmatize sex din, na parang, but then again, like parang it's kind of a double-edged sword. Aminin na natin na parang kapag sinabi mong bakla, like parang matik mong may isip yung sexual aspect of it. I really don't like that kasi it's not just that. Diba? It's not it's not all that.
Natatawa pa naman ako kasi bala ko pa naman sumunod ng question. On that note, kailan ang first sexual experience mo, Chambi?
I mean, I mean, okay lang naman. Like, go. Like, fire away with the sexual
Natatawa ko sa...
question.
Nakakahiya na kasi parang sinabi mo na parang
I'm just saying, I don't like how na parang pag sabi mong bakla, like, sex. Yun agad. Like, parang, kaya nga dun sa story ko, like, parang I'm really trying to, like, keep the balance na meron siyang wholesome moments and meron din siyang sexy moments kasi, like, it's all a part of it. They're all, like, coexisting. Diba? Hindi naman sila mutually exclusive. Ganun.
Nahiya na ako mag-tanong. Pero you can still answer. You can still answer.
I mean, you have to admit it's pretty hot, right?
It is
alam mo
hot.
yun, like how you visualize having sex with a handsome manananggal. I mean, there's just, sabi ko nga, di ba, in description ko, there's something like very raw, bestial, or primal about it. Kamusta yung reaction from the fans or from casual fans or casual readers?
Well, ano like marami talagang natutuwa dun sa mga sexual episodes. Pero ano din, like nakakataba din ng puso na makita yung reception dun sa mga soft episodes, yung mga like yung episode niya na mention nyo kanina, yung yung tethering to the ground and lifting the other up, ganun. Like parang I think that's one of the episodes na may pinakamaraming engagements. So parang you know, like isip ko na lang, like it could be a strategy na parang I lure the gays in with a like parang hot sexy content, but like really it's really a heartwarming and wholesome story at its core.
Totoo naman talaga.
Hook, line, and sinker nga, di ba?
Yeah. So, di ba? Aminin natin, sex sells. Di ba?
Yes. At dahil sinabi mong sex sells, para bumenta ang podcast namin, sino ang first sexual
Sino talaga? Sino?
Nakakainis. Nakailang boyfriend ka na? Ganun na lang, babaw na lang. Nakailang boyfriend ka na? Bakit parang nahihiya ka para sa akin, Shamsi?
Ito na.
On a lighter note, nakailang jowa ka na?
Okay, full disclosure, like, legit na jowa na as in long term talaga. 1.
So maraming mga fling-fling lang, fubu-fubu.
Yeah. In between. May mga ganun in between.
Teka, girl, sabi mo 1 tapos in between para wala na ba?
Kasi
yung so, on and off kayo nung 1 na yon, tapos doon yung mga in between.
On and off yung 1 na yon.
On off yung 1 na yon eh.
Pero taka parang ano parang in between. So kayo pa rin? Kayo pa rin? Hindi na. Are you okay?
No.
Are you okay?
Bakit biglang ganun yung tanong? Yeah, I'm perfectly fine. Yeah, it was a long time ago. Long time ago. It feels like that at least kasi with the pandemic and all. But yeah.
Sige na nga, di lang ako magtatanong ng mga walang kwento.
Okay lang naman.
Okay lang daw, game.
No, kasi you mentioned earlier, so the comic is based on your experiences. So yeah. I would assume like even those intimate, sexy scenes were actually referencing like some things that you have experienced.
Well, yeah, except for the part that my partner can self-segment.
I mean, yung eksena, yung alam mo yun, ano ba yun? Yung toothbrush, yung sa banyo.
Yeah. That toothbrush, yeah.
Si ex-boyfriend to? Gano'n. So alam niya to.
Patok na patok yun sa mga bakla yung episode.
Oo naman. I could imagine. Okay.
Good luck.
Okay. So I have another question. Sam, so you mentioned you love comics. So I'd love to know ano yung mga comics that you grew up reading or even up until now, what your...
Oh man. I'm a big DC fanboy. So
sige, next question.
DC fanboy pala.
Oh no. Or baka Marvel ba kayo?
Yeah,
Don't get me wrong, I love Marvel too, pero like biased
no,
ka
syempre. Sige, charot.
Bakit gano'n yung tono nung syempre?
DC Comics, ano yung mga titles to?
I'm a fan of Kingdom Come, of course. Alex Ross.
Alex Ross.
Yeah, I love Alex Ross. He's one of my idols talaga. Tapos Jim Lee, yung Hush, Batman Hush.
Siyempre.
Tapos like there's one by this local artist then Filipino artist si Lenil Yu. He had a run with Superman Birthright. So yun yung mga like parang big three.
Oo, tama. Okay.
Big three titles ko sa comics.
Diyos ko, nagkasundo yung dalawa sa comic.
Yeah, I'm a big geek. Tapos naalala ko nga like nung kinukwento ni Miss Shamsi yung experience niya growing up na parang nerdy siya gano'n, na parang bullied kid. Like parang sa generation namin, like if you're nerdy, you're cool. So parang
seryoso, ang laki ng difference. Kaya nga
I was born in the wrong age.
You were born in the wrong generation.
I was born too soon, kumbaga.
Yeah.
Kasi ibang-iba rin ngayon. Kasi parang recently then, I've heard from a friend of ours na yung meron siyang, hindi naman literal na stepson because he's living in with a partner, plus may anak, na in high school na yung anak nung niya. Well, kasi all boys school din naman. They're in a relationship na yung anak. Kung panahon namin yan, parang ang labo mangyari na may same-sex relationship na out in the open sa school Yung parang, siguro pa, di ba Mare? Parang Shams, parang, it would be something, I mean, if that, well, kasi nga Catholic school kami, that would make headlines in some ways. Walang halong biro kapag may same-sex na magjowa na out in the open. And right now, I mean, thank God it's being normalized and it's open and yeah, I'm happy.
I'm happy too for the next generation kasi like sobrang they're very free na talaga to explore.
Not saying na walang struggle, di ba? Meron pa rin naman, pero parang it's a lot easier, a lot
it's
open.
a lot easier. For sure.
And you're right, a lot more empathetic din.
A lot of things have changed, so I guess that's a good sign.
Chams, ano mga influences mo pala growing up? Ano pang mga
magkaibang generation tayo. Tignan natin kung meron tayong mga commonalities.
Ay sige, tayo, compare and share kumbaga.
Yeah. Sino yung gay icons nyo?
Sige. Ako, Kylie Minogue, Madonna. Kahit medyo krung-krung na siya ngayon. Chams.
Sinabi mo na eh. Same lines. Kylie Minogue definitely. Lately si Dua Lipa, syempre.
Uy, mga bata. Sinasabi.
Nga pala.
Appeal to the audience.
Ba? Sige. Carly Rae Jepsen.
Mga bata pa rin. Bago-bago.
Nadine Samonte. Samonte daw, di ba? Charot.
Nadine Samonte? Starstruck?
Hindi, I was about to mention yung Sino ba yung isa Nadine? Yung kay James Reid? Ayun, Illustre pala. Anyway, you can
Nako, generation reveal.
Obviously, di ba?
Lumalabas gala, mas Nadine Samonte. Kilala natin.
I mean, naabutan ko din naman si Nadine Samonte.
Nanood
din ako ng Starstruck dati.
So, Cham, sino lang gay icons mo?
Gay icons ko, Carly Rae, of course. Lady Gaga. Taylor Swift. Is Taylor Swift a gay icon? I'm a Swiftie. Ganun. Sino pa ba? FKA Twigs. Kilala mo ba si FKA Twigs?
Cellophane, yung
Cellophane. Ni Robert Pattinson. And ni Shia LaBeouf.
Yun ang di ba may jombagan siya na yun?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. Ayun. Lana Del Rey. Bakit natawa sa Lana Del Rey?
No, I just remember kasi 'di ba medyo yung eccentricity kasi ni ate mo then I mean
medyo problematic na siya ngayon eh.
Yeah, and parati ko naalala si Kirsten Wiig sa yung sa SNL skit niya dahil dun sa pag-live niya. So yun na talaga parating pumapasa sa isip ko when I
love Kirsten Wiig.
Ako naman, Bridesmaids, 'di ba? Or
yes. Bridesmaids, my ultimate comfort movie.
Okay.
So ultimate comfort movie. Anong sa atin, Shams?
Ay, ano, Romy and Michelle's
High School
high school
Yun
reunion.
talaga.
Oh my
Oo.
gosh.
Have you seen it, Shams?
Lagi ko siyang narinig sa Drag Race, pero like, I've never...
You have to watch it. Pero hindi ko kasi alam kung hindi nila magagets yung humor kasi parang it's very generational din, no? Yung movie na yan.
Correct.
When was this movie ba? Like,
Early
80s?
90s.
Early 90s. So, mga panahon to na, hindi, actually, I want to say
Yung
Clueless.
kasikatan ng Friends kasi si Lisa
Si
Kudrow
Lisa
was like
Kudrow,
really
Mira
popular
Sorvino.
back then as tapos Mira Sorvino yung panahon na
Sorvino.
siya, diba?
Yeah.
So this is definitely early.
I don't think champs know Mira Sorvino kasi wala lang ganun si ate.
Correct. Oo, maganda yung reaction niya.
Ano yun?
Kung sino si Mira Sorvino, I don't think you know Mira Sorvino.
That sounds like a really expensive wine.
Pero do check it out. I mean, kami magkumari sa Romy and Michelle sa amin. There's even one.
We invented Post-its.
We invented Post-its.
Sige, I'll put it on my list kasi I feel like that's also like a big part of of gay culture.
Actually,
definitely.
Kasi very camp band term or very
kasi it's set in the 80s. So it's di ba? May pagka 80s tapos may pagka 90s. So it's heavily reliant sa syempre cultural references.
There's a certain look to that era of movies, yung mga panahon ng mga Clueless, ng mga Empire Records, mga but that's even earlier, I think. Pero yeah. So, okay. Next question. Favorite Drag Race queen or ever? Or do you watch Drag Race, by the way? Baka ka na nanonood ng Drag Race.
I do watch Drag Race.
Yeah. Okay.
Favorite queen, probably Katya.
Yay! Pareho kami. Well,
Zamalochikova.
Trixie and Katya for me. Ito yung combo eh.
Favorite ko yung mga eccentric na comedy queens, yung mga really like not necessarily comedy pero like mga really eccentric nga, like yun si Tammy Brown, si Sasha Velour, hindi siya naman like parang eccentric in the same sense as Katya, pero like she's kind of like avant-garde din ganun.
Shams, ikaw, favorite queen mo, di mo sinabi?
Si Manila Luzon. Definitely. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon galit pa rin ako kay Naomi Smalls
may vendetta.
And then syempre dapat like mention other queens. Ben de la Creme. I think
I love Ben de la Creme.
Ayan, syempre si to an extent syempre Jinx Monsoon.
So yung mga campy queens ganun.
Yeah, leaning towards more on that.
The campy queens.
Yep.
Okay, next. Favorite gay movie?
Like
I mean, one or two ko madami. Kasi actually, meron kami episode at 10 of each. Pero, I mean, or go-to. Your favorite go-to na lang. Or yung mga light lang or whatever.
There's this one gay movie. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Portuguese. It's from Brazil. The Way He Looks. I'm not sure if you guys know about it.
No, hindi ako familiar, in fairness.
Basta yung may blind na kid. Like,
this started as a short film, di ba?
Yeah, it was a short film.
Tapos na-pick up.
Naging, naging feature-length film siya.
I remember na, I've seen the short film, but I haven't seen yung full version.
Yeah, the short film is really cute and dare I say, better than the feature length. I mean, the feature length is good as well, pero like
yun naman ang problema lagi when a short film, yung concept kasi it's meant for short film, tapos when they try to expand it, nawawala na yung
it kind of falls short. That and God's Own Country. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
God's Own Country. If you guys have
we call it the UK Brokeback Mountain kasi parang the British Brokeback Mountain.
The British Brokeback Mountain. Yeah, exactly.
Sasabihin ko na lang para medyo papanahon, Call Me By Your Name. Call Me By Your Name.
Para mas recent, no?
Para mas recent. compared sa ang aming favorite na Happy
Hindi,
Together.
pero like, Happy Together, yeah. Ano to? Wong Kar-wai?
Wong Kar-wai.
Wong Kar-wai.
Wong Kar-wai.
Yeah.
Have you seen Happy Together? It's very madugo. Pero during
Yeah,
our
it's
during our
kinda
time,
heavy.
it was kind of cultural reset ba in some ways. Di ba may mga ganun term? So,
Oh no.
pero watching it during kasi hindi pa naman kami fully, that was the first kind of festival mainstream na gay film di ba, Mare? Parang during that time, kaya medyo big deal. And it's Tony Leung and and imagine mo
White
yun.
underwear. So,
At saka hindi siya typical na love story na pa-cute talaga ito, brutalan, pagmamahal talaga at saka reality, adult life in some ways. Shams, ikaw?
something like naman, to Wong Fu,
To Wong Fu.
Priscilla,
Queen of the Desert. Feeling ko hindi alam ni Chambi yun. Hindi mo alam yun, no?
I'm smiling because I don't know.
Thank you for being polite.
I'm just pag may reference na hindi ko alam, like, tatawa na lang ako.
Sige. Sa mga recent na sa BL craze, Champs, ano yung mga faves mo?
Wala.
Okay lang, you can be honest. Kasi kami medyo honest kami. Kaya natawag kami na basher. Kasi for example,
Can I be honest?
Oo naman.
Please, go ahead.
That's, yeah.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get a lot of bashers for this. Pero like,
girl, tinawag na kami ang basher dahil ako personally,
same boat, diba?
Kasi hindi ko gusto ang Game Boys. Hindi ko gusto ang Game Boys. Alam mo naman ang Game Boy stands, nakakaloka.
Let me tell you, I was a former Game Boy stan.
Okay.
Former.
So what happened?
Wala. Like, you know how fandoms can be. They can get quite toxic.
Exactly.
Pero like, all I can say is, natatakot ako eh. Natatakot ako kasi baka biglang may red dot ng sniper dito mamaya.
So sige.
It should have ended at episode 10.
We are the same on the same page. Sinabi ko din yan.
Ayun lang. It should have ended there and then just stop. Wala na. Stop milking the gays, please.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much, Ambi. Kaya pala magkasundo. Kaya pala I like you. Parang gano'n.
Yeah, ayun.
Pero I mean, other than that, have you watched, like, did you like Guys sa Pelikula? Hello Stranger? Ano pa ba iba?
I've watched Gaya sa Pelikula. I tried watching Hello Stranger.
Tried the keyword.
Tried. And I've tried all the other series then here and there. Pero wala talaga. Like, I guess na oversaturate lang. Last year talaga, there was an oversaturation in the market, in the genre. And like, I myself am quite guilty of that. I'm coming clean right now. Like, nung early days ng pagpa-post ko ng mga comics ko, sinasama ko sa hashtag boys love. Pero like parang, ayun nga, like parang, as I mentioned before, I think my work is actually like the antithesis of the BL genre. Wala yung tropes. And it's like, yung BL, diba, it's kind of like boy meets boy, like merong isang nasa closet, tapos may third party, may isang hindi out, may other woman, na ganun. Like, and the female characters are always written poorly. That's what I've always noticed. And like, it's really catering talaga to, like parang, yun nga, yung origin kasi ng BL, diba, is Thai BL, na parang it's written by women for the female gaze.
Yeah.
So parang ayun talaga yung parang like that didn't sit right with me. So parang nangako ako sa sarili ko na yung gagawin kong piece of work would like stand for everything not BL. Na parang it's a domestic couple in a long-term relationship doing the most mundane things. Na parang dealing with everyday problems na parang, like, hindi naman sa afterthought yung gay thing, pero like, we've already established that. Parang, I want to see like more stories about like established queer couples in a healthy, loving relationship. Hindi yung puro like third party, ganun, yung parang, ano ba yan? Like, been there, done that, man. Give us something different. Hot takes. Cue the haters. Cue the bashers.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Ayun, pwede magtanong kung ano yung mga balak mo sa kwento. Kasi na-curious talaga ako.
Spoilers, may ganon.
we can exit out sa final output nito if you don't mind. Pero, yun lang.
Ano lang ba, yung lalabas sa Pen Lab is yung na-release mo na online, yun lang? Or may bagong lalabas sa print edition?
Here's the thing kasi, kaya nga din nag-iba yung style ko kasi hindi ko naman ina-expect na mapapublish pala ako. So parang ngayon inaayos ko na talaga, like I'm making everything consistent and neat and ayun nga mas maganda yung pagka-rendering ko kasi nga it's for print na. Tapos yung thing kasi is I'm actually right now in the process of redrawing all of the episodes that I've released before. Nire-redraw ko siya.
Okay.
Nire-redraw ko siya for the book.
Tapos, kasi yung format, iba yung format to sa yung mga Twitter post mo, di ba?
Kasi sa Twitter, di ba, gaganon ka lang swipe ka lang. So, iba yung format niya dun sa book. So, i-redraw ko talaga siya. And apart from redrawing the existing episodes, may mga, mga exclusive content din na sa book lang makikita. May mga bonus material. So, like, if you can, like, please buy the book when it comes out.
Oo naman, definitely.
Yeah, ayun. So, I have my work cut out for me right now because I'm doing everything by myself. The art, the lettering, the story. So, ayun. Sana umabot ako sa target namin. Pero it's coming. It's definitely coming next year.
But just to end it with your art, with you being gay, with what you went through with depression, what's your parting words to our listeners na lang in some ways, if that makes sense?
I think na lang to wrap it all up. Everything I said before, yung experiences ko with mental health, with like struggling with my sexuality and coming to terms with it, it's all a part of who I am, but I don't let it define me. And yung work ko, yung Ang Jowa Kong CROSSWISE, I guess that's kind of an outlet then for me to share it with other people. Kasi nga, like I said then before, gusto ko magkwento. Not because like it's not like a vanity thing na parang, oh, I'm so interesting, like look at the story about my life, ganun. At it's kasi, like I think when people read it, like it is at its core a universal love story. And a story about finding yourself, finding help, and finding parang a home in another person, in other people. So parang wala. I want people to know na parang whatever it is they're going through, they're not going through it alone. And I ma-mention ko lang din na parang one thing I like about yung format neto ng story ko being a webcomic that I post on Twitter is seeing the feedback from my readers. I think yun talaga yung yung hindi ko, even though I'm already getting published on print, I'm still gonna continue posting episodes online kasi I really love yeah, there's still gonna be free content. But yeah, kasi like I really don't want to lose that aspect of interaction with my readers. Kasi, like, parang kung sa kanila nakaka-validate na makikita nila yung sarili nila sa kwento ko, nakaka-validate din sa akin knowing na merong strangers on the internet na who are not necessarily going through the exact same situation, pero parang who have been to the same place, kumbaga, as I was before when I was going through these things. So, sobrang cheesy, pero you are not alone.
Yeah, I mean that's really actually the main gist of it, right? I mean, find your family, find your home. That's actually really
find your
good.
home.
Yeah.
Home can be a person, a place, home can be a feeling, whatever.
Yeah.
Wow, ang cheesy.
And for our listeners who haven't followed you yet, saan ka nila pwedeng i-follow? Tsambolero.
You can follow me on my social media accounts. On Twitter, I am at Tsambolero. That's Tsambolero. Tama ba spelling ko?
Yes.
Basta yun.
Uh,
Tsambolero with a TS, not with a CH.
Yan.
And I'm also on Instagram, but I'm not as active there. Also at Tsambolero. And I also have a Facebook page at Tsambolero. Lahat Tsambolero. But you can also find me on Penlab Inc. Like, please read Ang Jowa Kong Crosswise on Penlab Inc. Kasi like, mas maganda yung format nila sa totoo lang. And plug ko lang din Penlab Inc.
Yes. We love
Kunin ko yung
Penlab. Ang daming content. We love it, love it.
Yeah. Sobrang thankful ako sa kanila, and like they're really parang redefining this whole parang renaissance of comics, of local comics. There's a lot of free comics that you can read sa Penlab Inc. So please go check it out. Kasi may mga titles din doon na mapapublish na magiging print soon. And malay nyo, one of those titles pala would be the next Tresa na or something, diba? So,
you never know. Thank you
diba? You never know.
Thank you very much for joining us, Chambi. We really
Thank
enjoyed
you,
this
thank you.
time. Sobrang salamat sa pagpaunlak sa amin. Tamsi?
Thank you so much, then. Thank you for having me. It's been a blast and an honor to be here.
Wow, honor talaga.
Yeah.
Kaloka.
I had a lot of fun magpitahan with you guys.
So please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube.
Yeah, and we are also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Please follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
So this has been another Talakan, and today with Chambi. Bye!
Bye!
Bye!